Welcome to Dodgers Daily. Casey Porter here. So glad that you decided to tune in. We have a very, very, very special guest, right-handed pitcher, 6'6". He goes up a ways. PatrickCopen out of Marshall University joins Dodgers Daily. Hey, Patrick got drafted this last season, so super excited to bring you in.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here and happy to answer some questions for you.
Okay, very good. First of all, I like to start with a kind of a light moment. Want to take you back. I think it was your junior year. I think I had that right. Okay, 2 top 4 teams. You're playing Notre Dame. There's less than 10 seconds left. You get a kick out for a wide open 3. You nail it for the game winner, right? You had a double-double that night. You also had, I believe, 5 rebounds and 3 block shots. Got to take me back to the game winner, man.
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think that I was fully aware that it was a game winner. Honestly, I believe that I thought we had more time on the clock. But, yeah, it was kind of just, right place, right time. And absolutely nothing going through my head at that point. It was just, catch and shoot. I feel like if I were to be thinking about anything else, it probably wouldn't have went in. But, yeah.
Got to ask you, 6'6". I've seen some video of you on the basketball court posting up and guarding some post players. Ever dunked in a game?
Yeah, I've dunked a few times. Mostly just breakaways. Like one of the guards gets a steal and I'll run ahead and put one down. But not a whole bunch.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so a dunk in a game, you hit the 3-pointer to win the game, and then you've also been the Friday night starter for Marshall. So which one's funner, hitting that 3, to win the game, dunking a basketball, or getting a huge out there in late innings in high leverage situations?
And I'm going to have to rule out the dunk because, I feel like after you do it a whole bunch of times, it, kind of loses its magic. But I'd say getting a big out never really loses its magic. You always get fired up and everybody else always gets fired up. And that's something that, I look to do every single time I go out. So I would have to say getting that big out in late innings.
Want to congratulate you on becoming a Dodger. I know you were from Ohio, so that's all the way over on the other side of the world, as far as the United States goes, out in California. So first of all, congratulations on being a Dodger, and what did it feel like whenever you found out you were going to be a Los Angeles Dodger?
It was a whole bunch of emotions going on. I was with my family when I got drafted, so there was a bunch of excitement, a bunch of cheering. I was beyond thrilled. Obviously, it was a long time dream for me to get drafted and play professional baseball. So, and it being by the Dodgers just made it that much more sweet.
Take you all the way back. We mentioned it just a minute ago, a couple of your games, but Parkersburg Catholic, Coach Harvey there. Take us back to your time as a Crusader, Coach Harvey, all your time there and your excellence back in high school and just your career there.
Yeah, it was a lot different from, this, more of my recent career. I actually played in the field as well. I played, a whole bunch of positions, but it was a lot of fun to kind of play in that high school baseball setting. We didn't have a lot of guys, so it was really fun to get to play every day and to really be able to trust the guys behind you, playing with the same exact guys every single game, to kind of build a bond and just get better with each other.
Man, you just missed that new stadium at Marshall, didn't you? That thing's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, hey, you're from Ohio, but then you went to Marshall University, which is in Marshall, West Virginia. And so Madison Jeffrey actually is from that area. I don't know if you know Madison at all or if you guys have talked about that. But, hey, so it's only about an hour south of where you grew up. So tell us why you chose to be the Thundering Herd.
That was one of the reasons. It was close. My family would easily come to my games on the weekends. And I had a great relationship with the pitching coach that was there when I was getting recruited. It was my first offer as well, so we had been in touch for a while, and he would, call just to, sometimes just to talk, which, as a 17, 18-year-old kid kind of, struck a little bit with me to, build an actual personal relationship. And I was really hoping on getting that new field. We were supposed to get it my freshman year, but that didn't happen because of COVID. So, but some of those things you can't control. So nothing really to beat myself up on.
Yeah, it's always something, you know, they get new uniforms or they get new helmets, or it seems like alumni always goes back, oh man, I wish we'd have had that when I played. No doubt about that. Okay, so your time at Marshall, it comes to an end. You end up being the Friday night starter. You talked about the COVID deal. You had to do a lot of things like the combine and all that. So talk about all the things you did to get ready for the draft.
Oh yeah, I went to the combine. I didn't do any throwing there, but I did go through the strength and conditioning tests, like all the flexibility, mobility stuff, and I also did all of the medical examinations. Basically, going there to just prove to teams that I was fully healthy, and just give them kind of the full overview of what they were getting,
and not an alien or something like that, right?
Right, as well as do the team interviews that were there.
Yeah, that is a very, very grueling process. I've heard many people talk about, that process of going through that. Okay, so you get drafted in the 7th round. You have a great situation to go back to there at Marshall. You're going to get a brand new stadium. You're the Friday night starter. You're really coming into your own. You love your coaches. You love your teammates. But you get drafted in the 7th round. It has the Dodgers tag to it. So was that a difficult decision? Take us through that.
The way it was set up, it wasn't really much of a difficult decision. Like you said, I love my situation with the teammates and the coaches and the new stadium, but it's just kind of really difficult to pass up something of this. Just like the entirety of being a professional baseball player, it's really hard to pass something up like that.
No doubt about that. So what did it feel like the first time that you put on a professional uniform? Was it one of those moments where you just stood back and took it in, or was it you were just so busy you couldn't do that?
I mean, I made sure I had time to kind of look in the mirror in the locker room with my jersey on before I had to go out to the field. But putting it on and looking in the mirror gave me chills for a sec, but after that I kind of reeled myself in and was like, all right, this is the reality now. There's no time to be in awe. It's time to go to work.
You made it out to Rancho Cucamonga. You actually got, I believe, 4 appearances, 2 in the regular season and then 2 in the postseason, which was an awesome run, by the way. Going to ask you about that here in a minute. Had you ever been to California before?
I had not. I have an uncle who lives in San Diego, but I had never been to the western side of the United States until the combine a few weeks before the draft.
Hopefully you got with Simon Reed, who is a Southern California boy who was a teammate of yours there on Rancho, to kind of let you know the way, all the In-N-Out burger and that kind of stuff, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay, so take us through the first moment that you took the mound as a professional with Rancho. You're in California, the mountains are behind you, and here I am, I'm PatrickCopen, just a dude from Ohio that went to Marshall. Here I am standing on a professional mound. Take us through that moment.
Oh yeah, it was I was a little bit anxious about it leading up to it, and then kind of when I got on the mound, I just kind of went into this state of flow to where it was just kind of a muscle memory to where some guy steps in the box, it doesn't matter if he was drafted in the 1st round or whatever, just do what you need to do to get this guy out, and then just repeat that mindset to where you can't really have the oh my gosh, this is a 1st rounder, or whatever that may be, when you're trying to compete for your team and get out and get a win.
Both you and Great Lakes, the high A affiliates, you guys were the single A affiliates, you both made it to the very last game, the finals. You came back, you actually lost the first game of your 1st round of the playoffs, won the last 2, and then you made it to the very last game for the California League Championship. So talk about that run, talk about how fun that was.
I mean, it was absolutely a blast to be able to experience that, especially in the first shortened season of my professional career. I hadn't competed in a championship game in college, so that experience with the adrenaline and the large stadium with the fans cheering was absolutely awesome. Yeah,
that Lone Mart Field there, Quake Stadium, man, that thing can put off a big-time environment, can't it?
Yeah, especially with JoeKelly there.
Oh, yeah, he was there, wasn't he? I forgot about that. He was there on – that is cool, huh?
Yeah, it was. It was absolutely cool.
Did you get to pick his brain any?
I talked to him just a little bit. He likes to keep to himself most of the time.
Okay, man, you've had 4 appearances. That's not a whole lot, but what would you say are your strengths as a pitcher?
I would say that my strengths are the supination pitches. Cutter, slider, curveball. That's
Turning it left.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm good at.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So, what things would you say right now with the 4 appearances you have under your belt? What things would you say that you would need to work on the most? One thing or set of things to become a consistent major leaguer?
I would like to increase the usage of my off-speed pitches. Maybe starting guys off with those, or 0-1 or 1-0, kind of throwing in off-speed pitch there just to throw the hitters off with timing, or the just the way that they see the ball coming out of my hand, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm. I've got you at a mid-90s fastball sitting and maybe, approaching 100 as far as the topping out. I got you at a 2-seam and then a slider changeup curveball. So if I'm not right there, you can go ahead and correct me. But first of all, talk about your mix, your stuff, and then once you came to the Dodgers, were there any adjustments you made to your stuff?
Right. So in college, I had, so in the spring, I guess, I had a 4-seam slider, curveball, and changeup. And then before I had actually gotten in a game, there were some tweaks with the Dodgers to where I added the 2-seam to throw it more often. I had played with it just a little bit, but never in a game. And then I got rid of the changeup and added a cutter. So right now it's 4-seam, 2-seam, cutter, the sweeping slider, and a curveball.
Nice. Boy, that's going to look nice coming out of a 6'6" frame, isn't it?
Yeah. So, a lot of work with adjusting those pitches, but 4-seam has a little bit of cut to it, cut right, just because of my supination bias. But I use that a lot up in the zone to get the swing and miss on the high fastball. 2-seam's new, so I just kind of use it to jam guys, get a ground ball or a broken bat or something like that. And the same exact thing with the cutter, just slightly different look from the 4-seam, and then the sweeping slider and the curveball will be like my swing and miss pitches on 0-2 or 1-2, something like that.
You can tell just by listening to Patrick talk here. PatrickCopen, 6'6" right-handed pitcher, and the Dodgers organization joins Dodgers Daily. Just the humbleness coming out of his voice. Super humble, a humble young man. So, hey, sitting in California, standing in California, looking around, have you had that eureka moment yet to where you've gone, hey, yeah, this is really cool, this is a really big deal, this is my lifetime dream, but you know what, I'm good enough to be here? Have you had that moment yet?
Oh, yeah, I have. So my first outing was a success, but it was not something that I was really satisfied with. And then my second outing, I had tweaked some things, worked on a little bit during the week, and I came out and had a shortened start and went 2 perfect innings, and that was kind of the oh man, I can really do this. And so that really boosted my confidence. It allowed me to go out to where I didn't need to be afraid of anybody, or I didn't need to be in shock that someone was in the box or whatever, that my stuff's just as good as anybody else's, and it's time to really get after it.
I'm sure you're looking super forward to 2024, so what's your off-season routine going to be?
Right now, it's just, following the throwing program and following the lifting program, and, trying to improve on something every day, every week, and just, be as ready as possible for when spring training hits in 2024.
Back home, or are you at the complex?
I'm back home.
So are you going over to Marshall and using some of their facilities sometimes?
I might. Here when I start ramping up a little bit more, but as of right now, I'm just using the facilities that I have in my hometown.
All right, let's have a little bit of fun. I got some fun questions for you. Ready for that, Patrick?
Yes, sir, I'm ready.
Okay, very good. Question number 1, I'm going to look to my left, make sure I get these right. What's more fun? Actually, I've already asked that question. What's more fun, getting a big hit, hitting a 3, or dunking a ball? You already said, what was it you said?
I said getting a big out would probably be the best.
Getting a big out. Okay, fantastic. Okay, number 2, if you could have any superhero power, all right, some would say that would 6'6", throwing it almost 100 miles an hour, that would be a superhero power. But okay, if you could have a superhero power, what would it be and why?
I would say super speed just for the convenience of it.
Okay, awesome deal. What is your favorite sports memory and why?
My favorite sports memory. So my junior year of high school, we went to the state tournament in basketball. We ended up losing in the championship game, but we had played 2 games in the tournament before that. So spending time with all those guys, it was a super cool moment. I think it was like 3 days, but it was a super cool moment just to hang out with those guys and do something special with basically just your buddies from high school. It was one of the coolest things ever.
Fantastic. Okay, awesome. Okay, if I spoke to Coach Harvey back home there in Ohio, or Coach Wagner, you actually played for 2 different coaches at Marshall, Coach Wagner and Coach Beals. If I asked them, if I talked to them about you, okay, and they were talking about you, what's one thing that they might say about you that actually isn't true?
I would say that they'd probably say that I'm super serious, which really isn't that true.
Dry humor?
Yeah, I'm serious about baseball, but I try to be as laid back and calm as possible. And most times, make a lot of jokes, have a lot of fun. But obviously, when it comes to that baseball, it's time to get serious.
Can't be a baseball game, but what is your favorite video game?
I spent a lot of time playing Mario Kart.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on the Nintendo Switch, yeah.
You got to be kidding me. Mario Kart on the Nintendo Switch?
Oh, yeah.
Man, I've got a 25-year-old, and he had one of those, and we played that game like over and over, especially like over Christmas break. It was awesome.
Yeah, it doesn't really get old for me.
Yeah, that is awesome. Okay, last question for me. Okay, John Shoemaker, your manager at Rancho Cucamonga, hey, he is the most professional human being I think I've ever seen in my life. Right. Kind of a running joke. No matter if it's 10 o'clock at night in the hotel or if it's 5 o'clock in the morning at breakfast, he's always in uniform. So got to ask you, ever seen Shu out of uniform? So, believe it or not, I have.
Oh, man. It was for approximately 2.5 minutes. So when we were going to Modesto for the first game of the championship series, I saw him loading his stuff onto the bus in khakis. I think it was khakis and a polo shirt. And then, I said, hey, Shu, and then he got on the bus. And the next time I saw him, he was in baseball pants.
It's like Superman. He went in his booth and put on his uniform, wasn't it?
I know. Even the day that, the day after that we had lost our final game and we're being, bussed back to Arizona at the complex, even that day there was no baseball going on. He was still in his baseball pants and a Rancho shirt. But yeah, he's really hard to catch not in a baseball uniform.
Is he the most professional manager you've ever played for?
Yeah, I would have to say so. He's he's just been around the game for so long. It's hard to not listen to him and take in the stuff that he has to say.
All right, Patrick.
Playing for Shu.
All right, Patrick. Hey, man, I've taken a lot of your time. I know you are super, super, super busy. So thank you so much for joining Dodgers Daily. You got any final thoughts? You want to thank anybody who helped you along the way or anything before we get out of here?
My family has always been hugely supportive, as well as all of my coaches that I've had along the way. And I'm excited to continue my career as a Dodger and make my way through the ranks.
Man, I've got a request for you. Can you go back to Rancho and tell them to get some video for their home games, please? I'd really like to see PatrickCopen pitch at Lone Mart Field next year. But yeah,
that's something my family wishes was a reality as well. But who knows? Maybe next year.
Tell them to follow Dodgers Daily because I will have lots and lots and lots and lots of videos on PatrickCopen as we move forward. So thank you so much, Patrick, for joining.
Thank you. I appreciate it.